Oh, shoot. Okay. We are opening up with some Chargers Lions as we are sweating before Jets Raiders. We'll get into that. Don't worry. But we got Red Zone on in the background. Why? Because playoff implications are something that we will have to talk about. And since the Jets just lost to the Chargers, they really need the Lions to win this game, and they being the Chargers are now an extra point away from tying this game. And frustrating because it looked like they had them stopped on 4th and goal. Defensive pass interference gives them a fresh set of downs from the 1. The Lions defense gets it to 4th and goal again, and then they score a touchdown after that. Frustrating stuff. But anyway, we will be talking some New York Jets versus the Raiders. And naturally, we get our little pregame Aaron Rodgers walkout. Here we go. Look at this. Stay alive for 8 is what I am calling this video on this day in this game. Stay alive for number 8, please. He looks like he's walking okay. He's still got the giant flipper on his foot. Walking. It's awesome. Look at this. It's getting me excited. How could it not get you excited when you're just holding out that little bit of hope that maybe, fingers crossed, we'd be able to see Aaron Rodgers make his way back. We're waiting on Inactives. That usually comes out shortly. We also, by the way, we could pull up the most recent Jets tweet is Sauce Gardner's pregame fit. And we'll get into your comments, of course. But let's pull this up. Here we go. Oh, I don't like that angle at all. Here we go. Sauce Gardner with the green and the flowers, things you love to see. The bag. It's a good fit. Todd's hanging out with us. Let's do some roll call in here. Todd's hanging out with us. What's going on? Spiz is hanging out with us. Driving Ella home from her dad. She wants an O'Leary JETS. Shout out. Okay, Ella. We'll give one for Ella because she's a saint and she has to deal with Matt. So let's do it. JETS, Jets. Let's go. I'm calling it right now. An ugly 16-9 Jets win. I don't care how they do it. That just has to get done, right? You just got to find a way to get it done. I believe it was Buffalo Jet fan who had the tweet. Great follow, by the way, if you don't have him on Twitter. But the importance of this game. A win tonight, the Jets will be 8th in the AFC, which is 1 spot out of the playoffs. A loss puts them to 13th. I did a video yesterday saying that the Jets' playoff chances with a loss drop to just 25%. With a win, it bumps up to 54%. Kuka Lick times in. Matt is tall. Hashtag confirmed. Matt O'Leary is tall. Things we love to see. Yeah, Zachary chimes in. CJ Stroud is a star. Frustrating to see a quarterback get taken in the top 3, right, and turn into an absolute stud after what the Jets have gone through with their last 2 picks in Zack Wilson and Sam Darnold. It's frustrating, but yeah, they are legit. Texans are legit. If you weren't already beginning to sweat that matchup in a few weeks, you should be. This is not a team that's going to roll over and die. They are a feisty team. Stroud looks awesome. They are playing for their rookie head coach, and they're very much so alive in the mix. Little J08 chimes in. What's the uni combo for tonight? My favorite look. They are wearing the white tops with the white bottoms, the white on the white. I like that better. They wore the white with the black last week. I did not. Well, I'm not really a huge fan of that look. I think it's a little overrated, but they lost and now are back to the white and the white. So I will sign up for that one. Merklife chimes in. What's going on, man? He says 20-16 win with a defensive touchdown. So let's get into that. Obviously, the Jets defense has been playing out of their mind this season, and this feels like a game where you could get turnovers to come back into play. For as good as they played against the Chargers, none of the balls really bounced their way. There was a dropped interception from Jordan Whitehead. I think this game against the Raiders and Aiden O'Connell would be one where we could see the potential for a return of the turnovers. And a big reason for that is the Raiders offensive line. They're missing their left tackle for this game. The interior of that offensive line is not a strength either. So you should be able to see Quinton Williams, Quentin Jefferson, and all those guys on the interior be able to wreak havoc straight up the middle. So I think we could see a strip sack or a pick that's forced. O'Connell does have a couple of interceptions already in his 3 starts. He's looked competent. You got to give him credit for, a rookie who was taken in the 4th round. He's not lighting the world on fire, but he looks like he could, at minimum, be, a backup in this league. And I think for the Jets, in order to, one, not only win this game, but just to put your offense that is really struggling, like that is putting it nicely, really struggling. They have 3 offensive touchdowns in their last 4 games, and only 8 on the season through 8 games. So in order to put your offense and just the team in, the best opportunities possible, you're going to have to, 1, create turnovers, and 2, maybe you do need either a special team score or a defensive score. I felt bad for the special teams last week against the Chargers. They let up the punt return for the touchdown. And I understand, like, the fans were frustrated with that. And, it was annoying, obviously, to give that up in that spot. But they have to, both special teams and the defense, they have to play absolutely perfect and mistake free for them to even have a chance in this game. So I really hope that it doesn't come to something like that. I really don't. TJ chimes in. Big night for the offense. They need to turn it up. If they don't, you can kiss the playoffs goodbye. I'll say this about the offense and the Jets game plan for this game. I think they should go run heavy because they're going up against the 2nd worst rush defense in the entire NFL. The Raiders against the run have been horrible. They allow the 2nd most rushing yards against. And I just don't want to let Max Crosby wreck the game because he is someone, he's got over 9, I believe it's 9 or 9.5, 9 or 9.5 sacks this year, is a problem for either Mekhi Becton or, I'm going to assume, Max Mitchell at right tackle. We'll see what is the Jets game plan on the offensive line. My assumption, again, is that they're going to go back to Max Mitchell and have Xavier Newman at right guard. Again, just my guess. But that offensive line is going to have the work cut out for them in this game. Honestly, they really are, with all due respect. All right, Kevin says, I almost feel the defense has to score for us to win. I hope I'm wrong and Zach shows something tonight. Yeah, I look, I was obviously critical of Zack Wilson and the entire offense this week. It was not just Zack Wilson. There are many, many issues right now with the offense, but I will say the last time Jet fans were really, really critical of Zack Wilson and this offense and the team was after the loss to the Patriots, and they came out and had their best offensive performance of the season against the Kansas City Chiefs the following week. So I hope that's the case. I really do. I hope that comes out. I hope Zack Wilson goes for 250 and 2 touchdowns, doesn't throw an interception. Maybe please stop fumbling the football. Also, he's got 4 lost fumbles in the last 2 games. I hope that's the case. I would love for him to shut me up. I don't want to be right about him or this team and they lose. I'd rather be wrong and this team win. I want to win games. I want to end the longest active playoff drought in all of sports. I'd rather that. As the Lions just go up, they go up 38-31. This is turning into a shootout out in Los Angeles, so that's good for the New York Jets. We got Chuck chimes in with the $10 super chat. Chucks, thank you so much, man. I appreciate your support. Always in here. He has a comment beforehand, so I'll pop that up on the screen as well. He says, hey, Matt, maybe Breece Hall won't stop at the line before he decides to keep going for a chance and finds a hole. I hope so. I really think, as I mentioned before, they are a team right now that their identity is to run the football, and they don't want Zack Wilson to lose them the game. They don't want to ask him to do too much. I completely understand that. The Raiders play into that from a defensive perspective. They are a team that struggles against the run, but they have a really good pass rush. And that's obviously a weakness right now because they have a twofold. One, the Jets have a quarterback that holds onto the ball too long. And number two, their offensive line is dealing with a ton of injuries. And it's just not a great offensive line. Both those things can be true. It's not a great offensive line. And also, Zach, holds on to it too long. Specifically the last 2 weeks. He has to get back to, there was a 3-game stretch, first against Kansas City, then against Denver, then against Philly, where he was getting the ball out, relatively quick at a point where you're like, okay, like you can survive with this. And then last week, the number was going back up again. It was a high number against the Giants. It was over, I believe it was over 3 seconds from snap to throw, which is just, that's too high. It really is. So I hope that's the case in this one. Chuck says, you rock, brother Matt. Thank you, man. I really appreciate you guys. Can you do some calls? Yeah, I'll drop. If you guys want to call in, I will absolutely. Let's do it. Why not? I will drop the link in the chat. You guys can pop in with me. We can talk about this game. A link to call in. Okay, let's put up Mr. Downtown for the super chat. Thank you so much, Mr. Downtown, for the support. I'm going to pin this comment as well. So Mr. Downtown says, feels like the Sunday night game versus KC, do or die for Zach. Yeah, no, that's 100% the case in this game. It does feel like it's a do or die situation for Zack Wilson. That's what it was the last time. And they lost against Kansas City. Hopefully, they find a way to win this game instead. Obviously, they're not going up against the high-powered offense like the Chiefs have. So I think that's going to make really a big difference here. All right, let's go to the first call. Let's go out to Doug. What is going on, my man? How are you?
First, before we get into a game, I have a couple of things. One, which Sunday night song version do you prefer, the Faith Hill version or the Carrie Underwood version?
I like the Faith Hill one, to be honest with you, the OG.
I agree, because it also brings back better memories of a better Jets team. So
agree.
Two, I don't think the Jets talk team is allowed at games for the rest of the year after what happened last week.
Totally fair.
I think you guys are bad juju. No offense. It was.
I'm 0 for 3 in the building with Green Bean. So this annual thing might just have to stop.
Yeah, I don't think you and Green Bean are allowed at the game again, like ever.
I think you're right.
But going into tonight, I have the only thing I have a feel for is our defense showing up, because they do every game, and Max Crosby having a big impact on this game, because like no matter who he plays, like you see it, like he has an impact in every game. He's just that good. Like those elite pass rushers, no matter who they are, they make an impact on the game. So I don't expect to completely like just shut him out, but he'll have a few big plays. I just know that's going to happen because he's that good.
Yeah, and they move him around too. It's not like they just keep him exclusively on the right side and you put a tight end there the entire night. Like he'll come at you from either the left or the right side. So
and he plays every snap on that defense. So
yeah,
he's in the game all the time. He's incredible. So like losing to him, like getting beat by him, it's nothing to be ashamed about. He's literally one of the best like defensive players in football right now. So it's nothing to feel bad about. But yeah, it's gonna be an ugly game. I'm happy. We've been waiting all day. It's nice to be on national television. That's fun. It's exciting. And then next week we're pretty much national television again because we're the late window game. And then the week after that we're national television again because we're the Black Friday game. Just
look at this. All the attention on the Jets right now.
Look at us. Who would have thought? Not us. But yeah, no.
Prediction for tonight. What are you thinking?
That's so tough.
I'm going 16-9.
I'm gonna go 17-10. Just like
okay.
Something on that. It's just so hard to imagine that, and I don't want to beat up on Zach because everybody does it, and it just
fair.
It's just so annoying to hear it done. Like we get it, he sucks. I agree, he sucks. I'm not a Zach truther. It's just so painful to watch.
Yeah, I just hope that they're semi-functioning on offense.
I've asked for it like just once this year. I would like a game like the Bears game last year where it's easy. We don't have to worry about it, but that's not going to happen. We don't get good things.
Asking too much, unfortunately, I think, Doug. But
like, last thing, and then you can hang up on me. I don't think Aiden O'Connell will do much against this defense. Like, look what we did. Like, perfect example of how great this defense. Look what the Jets did against Justin Herbert last week, and look what he's doing today. The defense has been incredible. So, expect the defense to show up. Let's hope it's a good game, and let's hopefully get a win. And then, everything's back to positive vibes. Positive vibes.
Absolutely. Doug, thank you so much for calling in and supporting. Go Jets, man. All right. Thank you, Doug, for checking in. We got Dan on the line. Dan, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
What's up, Matt? How's it going, man?
Doing good. What are you thinking for this one tonight?
I don't know. It's going to be a low-scoring game for sure. Not really much hope in this offense, but defense will keep us in it as usual. I'm just sweating the end of this Chargers game right now.
I know. I have that on in the background here. I don't know if you hear we're here at the start of the stream, but it was right as they scored on that fourth down play. So I'm right here with you. I'm sweating it out. I'm watching behind the camera as we go. But this is huge, because they couldn't take care of business against the Chargers, and now you got to root, for Detroit to take care of business for us tonight.
And it's just crazy to see these quarterbacks do so well against all these other defenses, and we just shut them down every time.
Yeah, it is truly remarkable. It's a special unit, the defense, and I think that's part of the reason why so many Jeff fans, myself included, are so frustrated with this offense because
super frustrating.
The defense is great, and outside of the punt return against the Chargers, the special teams has been fantastic all year too.
Yeah, what do you think of all these AFC North teams winning? It's pretty frustrating for the wild card.
Yeah, it is. The Steelers, they kind of feel like the Jets too, right? Like their offense isn't really all that great.
I don't understand how they're 6-3. I really don't.
Mike Tomlin, I think it just goes to show how good a coach Mike Tomlin is.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. And I was frustrated with the Ravens today. I was hoping they would help out the Jets because I know it's same division as the Browns, but Ravens, you would hope, would just run away with that division and beat up on the Browns. They were, and then it was a crazy comeback game. So not ideal.
Yep, agreed, man. Well, hopefully we take care of business tonight, but we'll see.
Absolutely. Dan, thank you so much for calling in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Douglas. He chimes in with a super chat. Thank you so much, Douglas. If you want to join the show, I have it linked below. We'll just continue to go through the comments here. Douglas says there's a correlation between time to throw and how long it takes for receivers to get open. Can't always just throw it away when you risk intentional grounding calls. There is something to be said about that. A lot of the times the quarterbacks who have the highest time to throw or snap to throw are the quarterbacks who are rushing threats. So like Lamar Jackson always has a high one. Jalen Hurts has a high one, and the Chargers are going to tie up this game again. What the hell is going on here, man? Gosh, we can't get any help today. It's crazy. You can't risk intentional grounding calls, but there was a couple of times in the game against the Chargers where a check down was there, and he kind of goes down and takes a sack. Not every time. 8 sacks is a lot, and Billy Turner was abysmal in that game. You're not going to get me to say otherwise, but 3 or 4 of those probably could have been avoided, which again, a 4-sack performance isn't ideal for an offensive line. That's not good enough, but I think that also plays a factor in this one. Thank you, Douglas, for your support as always. A fungus is up next saying it's great, but Zach can't score. And then right after that, Jay Clark, it's a duality. Says Zack Wilson breakout game incoming. I want nothing more than a Zack Wilson breakout game tonight. I know that right now I would say I have a reputation as a Zack Wilson hater, which I don't necessarily think that's the case. I really do my best to just give my opinion and just what I'm thinking about this team and not try to hold, personal biases in it. But I don't think he was good enough in that game. And I think the offense could use a spark with other factors as well, being in the mix. Like, obviously, there are some opportunities where he could have been better, but or this offense in general could have been better. But I hope we get the breakout game tonight. Let's go to Chuck is up next. Chuck, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, Matt. I just want to tell you that your show is a great show, and I appreciate watching it every time. So I want to thank you.
Chuck, I appreciate that, man. What are you thinking for tonight's game? Uh-oh. Chuck, I think we
I think we're going to pull it off by 3 points. I'd say something like maybe 18-20 or something like that with the Jets. I think we're going to do it. I personally I talked to Garrett Wilson himself.
Okay.
He told me to try like hell to win this game. They really want to win it. So the team's got their head in the right place from what I'm hearing. So I'm hearing from the locker room. So I'm believing them. I got to believe them because I've been fans since 19. Hey, doing good. This is
Good stuff. Chucky, you're breaking up a little bit. I'm going to let you go, but I appreciate you calling in. Okay?
thank you.
There we go. Thank you to Chuck, and good guy to have around. Friends with Zack Wilson. Let's go to Jay, UK Jet. What's going on, Jay? How are you?
I'm all right, thanks, Matt. How are you? Yeah, I'm good. I'm just okay. I'm going to ask your opinion on something. What do you think? I would like to. Yeah, I would like to see us, the Jets, run lots of multiple tight end sets because I just sort of feel like keeping the extra blockers in there to help Zach and or Brees, and also like with the wide receiver room as it is, it just seems like it might be a good idea to get all of the tight ends out there, get them on the field as much as possible, and and it just seems like it might. I mean, I'm clutching at straws to get the offense going, but it's something that's in my mind.
No, I agree with you. I think, especially with how the wide receivers outside of Garrett Wilson are really struggling right now, I think getting Tyler Conklin and specifically Jeremy Ruckert, I would like to see him more as a tight end too over Uzama. At this point, I think getting those two on the field would be your best recipe for success, in the passing attack and involving Brees Hall, which is something they've done more the last couple of weeks in the passing attack. But I like your idea to bring on the tight ends, have it as right under your name too, which is perfect. I love that. So are you staying up for the whole game? Are you going to make it?
I'll probably. I'll see how far I make it. I'll do my best.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got the day off tomorrow, so yeah, I'll try. I'll definitely do my best to hang in there. I usually do make it actually, but I will confess on the odd occasion I have nodded off.
Listen, watching this offense
at 4 a.m.
Yeah, what is it there now? Approaching 1 o'clock.
It's 5 to midnight here right now, so.
Okay, yeah, so it's gonna be a late night for you, Jay. But listen, you are obviously a diehard for for staying up, and I appreciate you calling in. What do you think? Do you got a final score prediction or anything like that for this game?
I think I'm probably in the same area as everyone else. I'm obviously hoping for a win. I'll go 13-10 Jets.
Nice. Okay, one of those real ugly, sloppy ones.
I imagine so. Yeah, I'd love to be proven wrong. Hey, the law of averages says the only thing I will say on a positive note is the law of averages says surely at some point one of those touchdowns like Brees gets where he dances around people and gets scores 50-yarder. Surely one of those is going to come to us early in the game at some point. The law of averages says, right?
I hope so. Yeah, you're right. Like eventually something has to click, even if it's just by accident, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Jay, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for calling in. Enjoy the game.
Have a good one.
Love it. All right, let's go out to Lee. He is up next. Lee, what's going on, man? How are you?
What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Good. What are we thinking for this one?
I think this is what we got to do. It's something that I've seen a couple teams do today, and something that Mahomes is really good at. And I can't believe I'm about to compare Mahomes to Zack Wilson. Do you always notice, like when Mahomes plays, after he throws 10 passes, they're like, well, Mahomes has completed the ball to 9 different guys in 10 throws. Mm-hmm. Can you name 9 guys that Zack Wilson has completed a pass to this year? And it just keeps the defense honest. Like, even if it's 3 yards, they just don't know where the ball's going. And I think that would just do a world of good to just get different guys involved, like, immediately in the game. And that's pretty much what I got to say. Let's try that.
Yeah, spread it around, right? It can't hurt. I know we were just talking, with previous caller about getting the tight ends more involved with these wide receiver struggles. I think that might be the move.
Yeah. It's funny. I was actually sitting like right behind you Monday night. My tickets are 340 row 15, but I was going to come say what's up, but you were a little busy. But if you're ever there again, I'll come say what's up.
Absolutely. Yeah. We enjoy the game tonight. Thank you for checking in with us.
Nice, Matt. Take care, man.
Love it. Good stuff. Oh yeah, that was a tough one on Monday night. It was fun having a big group of people. We had about 50, 60 people up in 340. Yeah, a few people came over and said what's up. It was awesome. It was a really just the community of Jet fans and the pregame festivities and all that stuff was a lot of fun. The game itself stunk, but oh boy, I love it. A fungus goes, can we name 9 touchdowns? No, they don't have 9. They only got 8. They only have 8 touchdowns on the year. How unbelievable is that? It's absolutely, oh boy, unbelievable. Jesse chimes in, says CJ can't block a 12-year-old. Tyler and Jeremy at tight end. That's fantastic. Not wrong. I think unfortunately, not wrong. I would love for Jeremy to get some more reps. I want to look up what his snap count was. I don't remember off the top of my head what the snap count was from last week. I'm interested to see. He played 28%. So here, I'm going to share the tab. I'm going to minimize your comment, but I appreciate you, Jesse. So we're looking at the snap counts. Football Guys, their website they do a really good job. But if you're looking, they have it by week, 28% for Ruckert to CJ Uzama's 35. In week 6 and 8, they were much closer in snap percentage. I would really like to see, though, Jeremy get more of that. It'd be like 60, 45, and like 15 to 20%. CJ Uzama, like him significantly lower, but they do use the 3 tight ends a lot. So, he will still get his opportunities. Vincent, with the most important thing here, says, I'll take a win. Don't care how ugly. You are 1000% correct. I do not care at all about the final score as long as they win. They can win this game 2-0. As frustrating as that will be, watching a 2-0 game or a 3-0 game, you'll take it. I just want them to stay alive, keep it in the mix, right, for staying alive because of this guy. Aaron Rodgers, still walking around. Can he make it back? He's not coming back if they're 5-8. If they're 5-8 and already out of it, he's not gonna, try to make his way back. But I would love to see him defy the odds and really, try to make it back. Okay, we got some inactives. Let's talk actives and inactives in this game. So Will McDonald is inactive, but it's not a healthy scratch. He was banged up throughout the week. But Izzy Abanikanda remains inactive. Randall Cobb, Jason Brownlee, Billy Turner, Chaz Surratt, Will McDonald, and Jarek Bernard Converse. So no Randall Cobb or Jason Brownlee. A little surprised with the Jason Brownlee one. And I've been someone who's been very adamant about the Jets utilizing Izzy Abanikanda. I understand that for whatever reason, they really are bringing him on slowly. They have to continue to give the reps to, both they're good. They're going to snap the ball. Hold on a second. I'm putting this on pause because it worked. The Detroit Lions went for it on 4th and 2 instead of kicking the field goal from like the 26-yard line. It worked though. Okay. Sorry. That's a big game for the Jets. This game has a lot of implications that's on. It's a good one. 38-38, Chargers, Lions, going right down to the wire here. Ballsy call from Dan Campbell, and it paid off. So they're going to eat some clock, wind this thing down, and kick the field goal, which is going to be huge for the Jets. And hopefully they make it. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that as it happens. A minute 40 there, but still back to the inactives for a second. I would really like them to get Izzy Abanikanda mixed in. Brownlee and Cobb inactive. I'm okay with Cobb being inactive. Brownlee's a little bit on the surprising side. Like, can you use him if you're not going to use Cobb, which is, fine. I'd rather him not be on the field. He's a little banged up, but the rest of these, not surprising. People are going to get bent out of shape over Will McDonald, but that's not a healthy one. He had an injury designation throughout the week. So he wasn't healthy scratch today. Skip says, I wonder if Zach gets benched tonight. We'll see. I think it would take a lot for him to get benched. And if he was, they would have to go to Tim Boyle because they didn't elevate Trevor Siemian. And I don't know about you guys, but Tim Boyle doesn't seem like a real option to me at quarterback. He just doesn't. I would love for that to not be the case. And obviously, in a perfect world, they don't have to go to either Trevor Siemian or Tim Boyle. The easiest thing would be for Zach to go out there and prove he's the guy. But he's got to get in the end zone to do that. They have 3 touchdowns in their last 4 games. So, that's I would be surprised if they did it, Skip. I'm going to be honest with you. I'd be pretty surprised if they did it. All right, clock is winding down in this Lions and Chargers game. We're going to get, once they go back, once red zone goes back to them, we will talk about that. But that is obviously huge implications for the Jets, so keeping a close eye on that one. Yeah, Jesse says Brownlee over Lazard, better hands. Again, not wrong to point that out, because you look at Lazard the last few weeks has been downright horrific trying to catch the football. He's been absolutely terrible trying to catch the football. I'm blurry right now. Here we go. Here's the kick. Or he's warming up to take the kick. He fooled me out. 4th and 12, 2 seconds left. Can Detroit pull this out for us? They're not going to cover. This game's going to be a push, which is slightly annoying if he hits this, which I'm hoping that he does. But most important thing here would be a Lions win for this Jets team who's trying to stay alive. But they have to take care of business themselves too against the Raiders. They need help, and they need to help themselves by winning. No timeouts for the Chargers, so they won't be able to ice them. It's a 41-yard field goal attempt from the left hash. Snap is good. Hold is good. Kick is up. And it is through. Lions win 41-38. Wow, what a game. That's huge for the Jets. Wild one. 41-38. That's big. Big stuff, guys. Dakota chimes in saying this is a must-win game. It absolutely is. I have the percentages that I could pop up on the screen as well for the Jets for if they win this game versus if they lose this game. It is 54% chance with a win to make the playoffs. With a loss, drops to 25%. Only a 25% chance to make the playoffs if they're 4-5. Chuck says we were all blurry before a Jets game. That's classic. Good stuff. Good stuff. Dakota says Jags suck too, by the way. They're frauds still for sure. They did not look great today. San Francisco went all over them. Trevor Lawrence didn't look great in that game. That was a tough one. They're definitely winning that division. So that unfortunately doesn't help the Jets cause, because you have like the Colts won, which isn't good. It would have been nice if the Patriots could have won to get themselves out of the running for a big quarterback, and then also help the Jets with a loss to the Colts, or help the Jets by the Colts losing the game is a better way of saying it. Not the Lions, excuse me. I was thinking L for Levis. Titans lost today. That's good for the Jets. And who else is in that division? Who am I missing? Oh, the Texans won, which isn't ideal, but they beat the Bengals, who are fighting. So both those teams are 5-4. Jets got to get to 5-4 next. Mr. Excessive Tackle goes 54%, probably goes up if Aaron Rodgers enters the chat. Yeah, that's why. That's another thing too. You just got to stay in it and stay relevant so that you have that opportunity, right? Like, we all would like to see Aaron Rodgers come back because he gives the Jets the best chance to win. But why is he going to go and fight his way back if the Jets are, I don't know, 5-8, 3 games under 500? Like, if the Jets are, heading into the final 3 games of the year, 8-6, he probably gives it a go at that point. And they have 3 tough games to close out their season. They have the last game of the year against the Patriots. They have the game against the Browns, which is a sneaky, really tough game. There's some tough matchups left on this schedule. Jesse chimes in, not happy this far with the money we're paying Lazard. Better see a huge improvement. Yeah, he has really struggled the last 2 weeks in particular. The drops are a major problem. I was a fan of Alan Lazard, the signing. I like Alan Lazard's game as a contested catch, good blocker, red zone threat. Unfortunately, the drops have been a major issue and have gotten worse this year than in years gone by. And the penalties, he's had just really, really bad penalties too so far this year. But not unfair to say that Alan Lazard's been frustrating. He absolutely has. London Stackhouse chimes in. Brees lightning 120 yards tonight. Sauce pick 6. Can Sauce Gardner get an interception? That would be fantastic. He doesn't have one yet this year. That's the next step. He dropped a pick 6 against Dallas. That was extremely frustrating, right? To see that one go through his hands. They need to get back in the interception department and scoring, right? Like, this defense might have to score for them to win some games for them. Dylan, yeah, absolutely. Stay afloat for 8. That's what I'm saying. I tweeted it. Stay afloat for 8. That's it. We're not asking to run away with it. Here's the tweet. Stay afloat for 8. Drop that in the chat at 5:10 or on the timeline at 5:10. I was like, listen, all you got to do is just stay relevant, stay in the mix. A win tonight does that. A loss, it's tough. You can't lose this game. Chuck chimes back in, says, I have a feeling. I said I have a feeling the Bills will lose tomorrow. Ooh. Can the Buffalo Bills, of course they can lose. The Buffalo Bills are playing on Monday Night Football against the who the hell are they playing? The Denver Broncos. Thank you. There we go. I couldn't remember. I knew it was an AFC West team. I couldn't think of which AFC West team it was. The Denver Broncos. Can Sean Payton do it to us one more time, please? Oh my God, they got on red zone 42-7. The Cowboys are up on the Giants right now. Gosh, good God. That's awful. Horrible. All right, let's get back to some of these chats in here. We got Mr. Excessive Tackle says, put Brees in the Wildcat or have Zach kneel on the ball. It would actually make us better. The Wildcat worked on 4th down. Maybe they do got to run the Wildcat a couple more times. I don't know if I love it with Brees. It worked, but do they have someone else who could be the emergency quarter? I feel like, didn't Randall Cobb play quarterback in college? I feel like someone on this Jets roster played quarterback in college. I think he did. I'm going to Google it. Did Randall Cobb play quarterback? He did at Kentucky. See, I'm not going crazy. Sometimes the memory still works. Way back in 2008. It's a long time ago now, but he did. Yeah, Jesse, I have not seen anything legitimate about Corey Davis possibly making a return. I have not seen that really anywhere outside of just speculation, and I have no idea, what's going on in his personal life. Obviously, something was very, very wrong for him to walk away from, a season with Aaron Rodgers with a lot of expectations. That would be by far the best quarterback he's ever played with, and he was going to make like $10 million this year. So I know some Jet fans are frustrated because they lost a good wide receiver, right before the season, and I understand that aspect of it, but I feel for the player because I don't think Corey Davis just goes away for no reason unless something really, really was going wrong with him, and we still have no idea. The media doesn't know, and it's probably better off. Like, these guys could use a little bit of privacy. So obviously, wishing him the best, and I think he had to make a tough decision for him and his family. Brian Bogan chimes in. What's going on, Brian? He says, hey, Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams were hanging out this week. What do you think they were talking about? I think they were talking about an offseason trade. I think if there's odds to place a bet on on Davante Adams' next team, I would very seriously consider placing a wager on Davante Adams being a New York Jet in 2024. And I don't think it would be crazy costly, by the way. I really don't. I understand that he's an immense talent. He is. There's no denying that. He's an extremely, extremely talented player, but these guys go for significantly less in trades all the time. Like, we think these, they were going to be able to trade the Minnesota Vikings would be able to get something in return for Dalvin Cook. They couldn't. They released him. We've seen trades. DeAndre Hopkins was one, right? That could have been a trade, and he ends up getting released. There's a few examples of this. So I don't know. I don't think it would be a first or a second round pick, as crazy as that might sound. I'm not convinced of that. Phil, what's going on, man? He goes, 175 in the house, 48 likes. Time for some milk thumbs. Yeah, while you're hanging here, we got a lot of people hanging out with us before this game. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you can, drop a like on the video. It really helps out YouTube, the algorithm, putting us in front of more people. If we show that we like the video, it's the best. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know. Rob V says Davante is a minimum second round pick. I don't know. I'm not so convinced. Possibly. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does have to go for a ton, but I think I don't know if it's going to be a crazy high pick. And with the contract that's attached to it too. Like, that's obvious. That's a part of this. '49ers are dry. 49ers. Wrong NFC West team. The Seahawks are driving on the Washington Commanders right now. 6.5 point spread in that game, so a touchdown would be nice. Jesse says we should see big hug highlights with Rodgers and Adams tonight. Yeah, I would think we get to see them on the field together. I'm sure he wants to see them pregame. I would think, like, I'll say 2 mid-round picks, maybe one in each of the next 2 years, a third and a fourth, a third and a fifth. Remember, the Jets traded for Brandon Marshall, was a 5th-round pick. Fear is Grim says Kyler Murray went crazy today. What did he end up finishing with? I know they won the game. Cardinals box score in his debut. Good to see him back. Kyler went, why did it do it in the reverse? 19 at 32, 249 yards. Good for Kyler. Welcome back. Hey, we got a Dolphins fan in the chat. This is like and lurk. Click that thumb. Hey, thank you, Hooked Up Joe. I appreciate that. Dolphins on the bye this week. You don't have to worry about the Dolphins. We'll see how they perform. Who do they have in 2 weeks? Let's see. Dolphins schedule. Before they have the Raiders. Okay. They're hosting the Raiders. before their game against the Jets, which should be a big one. Kuka Link says, you think Bang Mateo will talk up Arthur Smith tomorrow? Does a bear shit in the woods? I think he will. I don't get why he loves Arthur Smith so much. I think he has done a lot wrong with that team, especially on the offensive side of the ball. How they seem to just not be able to get enough out of Bijan or Kyle Pitts is absolutely insane to me. But anyway, it is what it is. Dakota saying Miami schedule gets easier and easier. I don't know. They got the Raiders at the Jets, at Washington, Tennessee, the Jets. Their last 4 games are pretty tough. Against the Jets, Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills. Those are 4 pretty tough games. I'm not saying they're going to lose all 4 games. Obviously, I don't think that's the case. But, can they find their way? They're 6-3 right now. In their remaining 8 games. What do you think they're going to go? 5-3, finish 11-6, something like that. Probably. That's where I'm at, I think. Yeah, and then we got Zachary chiming in. Miami hasn't beaten a winning team yet this year. Haven't beaten a winning team in the last year. That is true. You have to go back to their game against the Bills in, what was that, October of 22? Or was that September? No, that was September of 2022. They have lost their games against teams with a winning record since, which is very tough. Yeah, 5-3-ish. Yeah, I think 5-3 is a pretty good bet. They finish 11-6. Obviously, as a Jet fan, I'm hoping that's not the case. I hope the Jets somehow can find their way to 10-7. I think unlikely. I think the Jets' best scenario is 9-8 now, but who knows? You never know. Thomas says, I'm in the UK. It's the 12:30. That's what time it is. But Jets offense best not let me down. You're a real one. Anyone who is overseas in the UK, spending your time watching this team that late at night, it's gonna be a late night for you guys. It's gonna be a late night I'm worried myself about. This game probably ends around midnight, post-game stuff. By the time I'm done, I'm probably looking at, I'm going to guess 1:30. And that's nothing. That's what, halftime for you guys? 1:30 in the morning, your time? So kudos to all the fans overseas watching. You guys are real ones. Dan says it was great watching the Patriots suck again today. See, while the Patriots being bad is a welcomed change, I have 2 fears. Number one, the first fear is that they lost to a team that the Jets are chasing in the wild card matchup. So the Colts are still in the mix for a wild card spot. And the second is I don't want them to be bad enough to end up with either Drake May or Caleb Williams. They can't end up with a top 2 pick. I want them to be bad, but not bad enough where it's a franchise changing. Like, I would like them to find their way to 5 wins and pick 7th in this draft. I think that's the move. That's the best case scenario. You want to be somewhere in the middle. 1:30 a.m. is kickoff time. Okay, see, I'm way off. Oh, goodness. First quarter in the UK. See, not a math guy. I never claimed to be. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm done around 1:30 in the morning, roughly. Maybe 2. But you guys are a special breed. Special breed. Yeah, Rob. See, this is what I'm saying. Don't want them getting Caleb or Drake. I'm right there. I need them to suffer for a little bit longer. We want them stuck in no man's land. We want them in a spot where you're like, maybe we could roll with Bailey Zappi and be okay. But Matt, how bad did Mac Jones look in this game? They pulled him for the final drive. Zappy hasn't played regular season snaps in a long time. And then you put him in that spot. That's tough. That's a really tough ask. We got Penix should win the Heisman. I don't know how. I'm not, to be completely honest with you, in years gone by when the Jets have been out of it. So the draft year 2021, I was significant in the draft year, meaning the 2020 season and the 2021 NFL season. By this point, I was much further along in my college and draft, like that mindset and which players I like and stuff like that. For like last year, I did not get into that nearly as much until the Jet season was over. So from January through April was when I really hunkered down on that. I feel like that's going to be the same as well, unless things go catastrophically wrong for this team, which I don't want to see happen. So I can't really comment on where he fits for me. I maybe he's QB3, but I don't know how much I like him. Kevin chimes in with a super chat. Thank you for your support, good sir. I don't see a comment attached with it, so I'll keep an eye out for your chats down below. Douglas is back with the super chat. Says, I wish this game had been flexed to the 1 o'clock time slot. I could have gotten drunk, whether in celebration or drowning my sorrows, and be sober now. Yeah, look, I think it's cool that they're getting a little bit more attention than in years gone by, right? But back-to-back weeks in prime time. They're in the 4 o'clock slate next week. They are then back in a prime time spot because they are the lone team that is playing on Black Friday. So a lot of eyeballs on this Jets team. But I'm a sucker for the Sunday at 1 o'clock. That's my favorite thing. The only thing I'll say is with these primetime games and with the Jets playing, a lot of later games this year, I have been enjoying Red Zone during the 1 o'clock hours a lot. I felt like Aaron Rodgers in his press conference where he's talking about how much he's enjoyed watching the Red Zone when the Jets weren't on, specifically for that game against Dallas in week 2. I think that's when he mentioned it. Dakota says Caleb to the Pats, Drake May to the Giants. That is nightmare fuel. I don't want any part of that. And look, like quarterbacks bust, and who knows, maybe Drake May or Caleb Williams. Maybe, either it doesn't work for either one of those guys or it works out great for both of them. We have no idea, but I would prefer both of those teams being the ones who don't end up in that spot. Put them in the NFC, Arizona, the Bears, whether it's with, their own pick or with, it would probably be Carolina's, I would guess, but Belichick about to glaze Caleb Williams wicked. That made me laugh. So I wanted to put it up there. Johnny says, is this the last we see of Zack Wilson as a Jet? I don't think so. They have doubled and tripled and quadrupled down on Zack Wilson. They refuse to bump Trevor Siemian up to be the quarterback 2. So to me, that says that they are just comfortable rocking with Zach. Are they going to really go to Tim Boyle? If the Jets, I hope this isn't the case, but if it's 6-3 at the half and the Jets are down and, or 6-0, a 1-score game, but you haven't scored, a ton of 3-and-outs, a ton of punts, maybe a turnover on offense, like, would they make a change at the half? I don't buy that they would. I really don't. I think that, I think they're going to keep riding. And for our sake, I hope it works. I hope that Zack Wilson goes out and has a performance like he did against the Chiefs and they score 20 points because that should be enough to win. I have all the faith in the world for this Jets defense against, a young quarterback making his 3rd start. I just really worry about what this offense is going to be. You have no idea. And more than likely, it's not going to be good, right? Like, They really there hasn't really been a game this year yet where it's like, oh my God, that was a great offensive showing. But with how poor they can play, we saw it against the Chargers. They could beat any team in the NFL because of how good their defense is, but they could also lose to any team in the NFL because of how bad their offense is. It's a wild, wild feeling because you have no idea what you're going to get going into these games. Sean says, hello from Dundee, Scotland. Optimism high, expectation low. Go Jets. Love it. Thank you so much. Enjoy the game. You're a trooper for staying up. I love it. Let's see what else we got. Matthew says this week was so negative. Please win. I'm with you. I did not like the discourse online. It's frustrating. It is. And covering a team that wins is so much more fun than covering a team after a loss. You know, and we've done, unfortunately, on this channel, a lot of losing seasons. We started this really going 2018, 2019 seasons. The 2021 was, I thought, the lowest of low. And then there's been some frustrating moments, man. 2021 was tough, a 4-win season. 2022 started off well and then ended really badly. And there were fights about the quarterback. And then this year, expectations high with Rodgers. And then, you know, offense struggles. They go on a win streak. They're hanging around. I just get back in the win column, please. That's all I ask. Dakota says Fields supposed to be our guy right now, remember? Yeah, like I guess something that you could give Joe Douglas some benefit of the doubt on right now is that every single quarterback, even though Trevor Lawrence struggled today, but we'll say Trevor Lawrence is the only one from that 2021 class who looks like he was a hit. Zack Wilson looks like a miss. Justin Fields looks like a miss. Mac Jones looks like a miss. Trey Lance was a miss. So, you know, there seemingly was nowhere that they could go. Robbie says Simeon isn't active tonight, right? Nope, he was not elevated up. We can go back to actives and inactives right now. I'll pull those back up in case anyone missed it from earlier in the stream. Really, the only, I would say, surprise was Brownlee. But here we go. Here's a look at the actives and inactives. Izzy Abanikanda remains inactive. Would like that to change at some point. Randall Cobb's inactive. Brownlee, Billy Turner, Chaz Surratt, Will McDonald, which that's injury related. That's not a healthy scratch. He did have an injury designation throughout the week. So he's not a healthy scratch. Just wanted to, let that one be known. And Jarek Bernard Converse. Those are your inactives for tonight's game. Billy Turner's hurt. Brownlee being inactive is a tad on the surprising side. Dan says Hall going to have 21 carries. That was almost picked off. 21 carries for 192 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sign me up for that, please. Just lean on Brees. Run the ball, hog it with Brees Hall. Jesse says we're seeing a safety tonight. They have 2 already this year. And one of them was in primetime. Brian says chances they won't pull Zack Wilson because it'll upset Aaron Rodgers. I don't think it would. I don't think that would be the thing because one, his other best friend, Tim Boyle's the backup. So you're going from one Aaron Rodgers friend to another. I don't think they would make the quarterback decision because it would upset Aaron Rodgers. I think Aaron Rodgers wants this team to be around and in the mix. Oh my God, the Seahawks just tied this game. The Seahawks just blew this lead, rather. What a drive for Sam Howell, man. Getting him right down the field. But to go back to Brian's question, I don't think it's going to be sorry, Brian. But they just showed Jamal Adams was crying on the field just about. He was coming off the field upset. So while I am very likely to lose my bet. I will be losing my bet because it's a 6.5 point spread on Seattle. I do feel a little bit better after watching Jamal Adams go off the field like that. Dylan says Alan Lazard 100 plus yards. That would be a nice bounce back after last week's performance. Good Lord. Kevin says, hopefully it's Gibson's breakout. 7 receptions, 89 yards. Calling it. Okay. By the way, I'll be on at halftime with Green Bean on his channel. He is going live this week. I believe he should be going live, although I don't see on his channel unless. Oh, it's on Talking Jets. Okay. He's going live at 7:45. So I'll take you up for I'll be on with you guys for another 10 minutes. And then I'm going to send you guys over to Green Bean's show. Make sure to head over to there. I'll be hanging out as well. Johnny chimes in. How tall are you? I am 6'4". If I stand up straight, probably 6'5", but I say 6'4". I've been over 6 feet since I was in 9th grade. The summer going into 9th grade, I grew about 6 inches that summer, from middle school to high school. Yeah, I've been tall. I was very tall and skinny. I put on some weight over the years, but yeah, 6'4". So for the poor Giants, man, 49-10. Good Lord. Google like says, when are you doing your after hours NSFW, not safe for work show? Yeah, one of these days I'm gonna hop on with Jeremy and proud NY Jets fans. I know they do their Friday night hangouts, and that's something that can go a little bit off the rail. We'll get there. I'm comfortable with that. One of these days, I got a message from Nick this past week to hop on. I wasn't around on Friday, unfortunately, but one of these weeks when I'm around, I'm going to be able to hop in. Jesse says, you're 6'4". Can you catch? If you want a really, really slow possession receiver, I'll be that guy. I'll be what Alan Lazard's supposed to be, but I can't jump. I probably won't take a hit well from an NFL defender. But yeah, what if I just catch the ball and fall down? Can that work? Austin says, Matt, thanks for the great content and positive vibes through this roller coaster. I'm trying. I'm doing my best. It's not always easy, but I am trying my best through this. Kevin says Matt should be our quarterback. There's a great video, if you missed it, during Zack Wilson's rookie year when there was the holdout over the oh my God, with the clause in his contract, not the deferred money, but I forget what the exact line is. I'm blanking on it. But anyway, it was with the contract negotiations, and he wasn't in camp for the first few days. I did a video where I'm throwing a football into trash cans like a combine. One of my favorite videos. But yes, I think I could handle it. I don't think I would be worse than Tim Boyle. Accurate as hell from 10 yards and in. Dylan says, do you have any idea why they like Taylor better than Brownlee? I thought Brownlee looked great during the preseason. I think Malik Taylor plays special teams, right? I think that's going to be my answer. I think Taylor gives you more value on special teams than Brownlee does. And if you're going to be a, low man on the totem pole, we'll call it a 5th or 6th receiver, you have to have some value on special. So I'm going to say that is the biggest reason why. Thank you. Offset language. Thank you, Peter. I appreciate it. Offset language. That's it. It was the offset language. I never wanted to hear that phrase again. And I clearly blocked it from my memory because I couldn't come up with the offset language in the contract. Yeah, 2021 was a fun time. Oh, What year did you graduate Chaminade? Don't do that to me. Look, I know I'm from Long Island, but I'm not a Chaminade lacrosse kid. I went to Southside High School class of 2013. 10-year reunions coming up, which is scary. Let's see what else we got. Got time for a few more. Paul says, Herm Edwards famously said, "You play to win the game." Starting Zack Wilson is not playing to win. That's their guy. That is their guy. They want to, see an opportunity for him to do it. I hope that changes this week. I hope he looks better this week. I'm not convinced that he necessarily does, but the Jets have shown when, going back to last March, they didn't bring in another veteran quarterback to be the backup. They were comfortable with Zack Wilson being QB2. Then Aaron Rodgers goes down in week 1. They don't bring in another quarterback. The trade deadline comes. They don't trade for another quarterback. They had 3 opportunities, free agency, after Rodgers goes down in week 1, and the trade deadline. And they said, you know what? We're good. Actually, we're all set. Shed says, do we start doing mock drafts if we lose tonight? No, I don't think I'm there yet. Some will be. I'm not quite there yet, but it's not a good situation. 25% chance of making the playoffs if they lose tonight. This is true. Lacrosse and women's soccer, girls soccer. I went to high school where there's a girl. Her name is Crystal Dunn. She plays on Team USA for soccer. She was a senior when I was a freshman. She was unbelievable. She was like Gatorade Athlete of the Year, high school athlete of the year one year, and now is playing on the national team. But they're good lacrosse and soccer. I was baseball player. Seahawks pulled this one off. They win but don't cover. Why? I think Sam Howell fumbled. I'm going back to look in the chat. So that is what it is. So Jason Myers, former Jet, hits a walk-off field goal. They win 29-26. And the Giants are about to lose. So I'll flip that one. Actually, I'll put on the NBC. Because I'll watch that until I want to keep that on mute. I'll watch this until we go on. Another former Jet. The kicker won it. Yep, absolutely. Former Jet. Seahawks have so many ex-Jets. They do. Geno, Myers, Adams, Leonard Williams. Those are just off the top of my head. There might be more even that I can't even think of. All right. So final predictions, and then I'm hopping off of here because we got Green Bean and Ryan and going on Talking Jets. I'm excited for that show. That's going to be good. Make sure to follow there, subscribe there. If you're not, I'll be on at halftime with those guys. Final thoughts for the Jets offense. They need to find a way to not let Max Crosby ruin the game, whether that's putting an extra tight end on the field. I don't know what it is you have to do, but you got to double team him. You cannot put him in one-on-one situations with Max Mitchell. Or on the left side, Mekhi Becton. As good as Mekhi Becton's been this year, you can't, that just can't be a thing. You desperately need to make sure that he's not beating you. Run the ball, lean heavy on Breece Hall. I say 20-plus runs for Breece. I think he gets in the end zone in this game. I think it's going to be ugly. I think the Jets create 2 turnovers. I'll say a fumble recovery and 1 interception. Bryce Huff strip sack. That's what it would be. And I'll say Michael Carter the second on the interception. And the Jets win 16-9. Guys, that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in this stream on the pregame. I'll have my coverage after the game in a video go out shortly after the victory. And a victory, hopefully a victory. Maybe it won't be a victory, but let's hope victory. And I'll see you at the halftime over on Talking Jets. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe here if you are new, and I'll catch you next time.